Hi, first grade. So far, we learned how to write the first 26 or the 26 letters in our alphabet, and we also learned the sounds that they make. The kind of letters that we learned to write when we were learning those were called lowercase letters. Class, what kind of letters did we learn to write already? Very good, lowercase letters. But we have more to learn about our letters because each of the ones that we learned also has what we would call an uppercase or a capital letter form. Those two words mean the same thing. Uppercase and capital letter are the same. All right, so all the letters that we learned to write, we learned them in lowercase, but they also have what kind of a form? Very good. Capital letter. We say capital letter more often, but if you hear uppercase, it means the same thing. All right. All right. So each of our lowercase letters has a capital letter that goes with it. It might look really similar or it could look pretty different. However, just like when our lowercase letters, when we were learning those, the most important thing was to know where the starting spot was for each letter, right? And that helped us form it correctly. Well, it's just the same with capital letters. We need to know for each of our capital letters that we learn where the correct starting spot is. So while we're reading and writing, the most important thing for our capital letters is to know what sound or sounds each one represents. All right, so we're going to learn capital K, S, which represents the same sounds as our lowercase K, S. So what are the sounds for capital K, S? Good, they're K, S, right? They have the same sounds, whether it's lowercase or capital. So class, letters also have a letter name. Right, we've just been talking about the sounds, but each letter also has a what? Right, it has a name. So the letter name for lowercase k, s, and it's the same for capital K, s, is C. What's the name of k, s? What's its letter name? Good, C. All right, so letters have names. So just like all of you have a name, so we can identify you quickly and easily, and you'll know who I'm talking about if I say your name. So letters also have names for the same reason. So we'll use the letter names more later on. Right now, we'll mostly, as we're learning to read and write, we're mostly going to be talking about the sounds. Okay. So I am going to show you how to write a capital K, S. So put your pencils down. What am I going to write? All right, if you just said K, S, you're right, but I'm going to write a capital, which we use at a different time than our lowercase. All right, so I'm going to write a capital K, S. Class, what am I going to write? Excellent, capital K, S. All right, so first I want you to watch me while I talk through how we write it. All right, so my capital K, S is a clock letter, and it's just like lowercase k, s, just like lowercase k, s is a clock letter as well. So it's formed the same way, except that it is tall. All right, and the letter name for both our lowercase and our capital K, S, its letter name is C. The starting spot is over a space just below the top baseline, touch 2 on the clock. All right, then I curve up, touch the top baseline, curve down, touch 10, touch 8, touch the baseline, touch 4, and lift. All right, so this is my capital K, S. Right? So when we're writing our capitals, they're all tall. And so when we're talking about our clock, we want to think of a clock that's sitting between the dotted line and the top baseline. All right, so this would be our 2, this is our 10, this is our 8, and this is our 4 when we're talking about our capital letters, just like with when we started over a space just below the top baseline, touch 2 on the clock. That's the same thing where we just think about a clock that goes just between the top baseline and the dotted line. All right, so this is our capital S. So class, help me and talk me through it. What am I going to write? Good, I'm going to write a capital S. And my starting spot is, say it with me, over a space just below the top baseline, touch 2 on the clock. And we're still comfortably close to our last letter. All right, talk through it with me. Curve up, touch the top baseline, curve down, touch 10, touch 8, touch the baseline, touch 4, and lift. This is my capital S. All right, class, now it's your turn. What are you going to write? Very good, capital S. All right, and where's the starting spot? Say it with me. Over a space just below the top baseline, touch 2 on the clock. All right, talk through it with me. Curve up, touch the top baseline, curve down, touch 10, touch 8, touch the baseline, touch 4, and lift. Class, what did you write? Very good, capital S. All right, let's do another one. So comfortably close to your last letter, find the starting spot. Remember, just like our lowercase s, our capital is a clock letter, clock stroke letter. So we're going to start, say it with me, over a space just below the top baseline, touch 2 on the clock. Good, talk through it with me. Curve up, touch the top baseline, curve down, touch 10, touch 8, touch the baseline, touch 4, and lift. What is that? Good, capital S. Good, let's do another one. So find the starting spot. Where is it for your capital S? Good, over a space just below the top baseline, touch 2 on the clock. All right, say it with me, curve up, touch the top baseline, curve down, touch 10, touch 8, touch the baseline, touch 4, and lift. Good, that is our capital S. All right. So now next to my capital S, I'm going to write a lowercase s. So these are both s. This is my good capital, and this is the very good lowercase. All right, class, the next capital letter that we're going to learn how to write is our G. Class, we're going to write capital G. What are we going to write? Very good, capital G. All right, so just like our lowercase g, capital G is a clock stroke letter, but we form this one differently, and the letter name is G. So to write our G, we're going to start with a tall clock stroke. So we're going to start over a space just below the top baseline, touch 2 on the clock. Curve up, touch the top baseline, curve down, touch 10, touch 8, touch the baseline, touch 4. Then we're going to come all the way up to the dotted line, and we are going to make a short dash stroke backwards on the dotted line. This is our capital G. Class, what is this? Very good, capital G. All right, I'm going to write another one. So help me talk through it as I write it. What am I going to write? Very good, capital G. All right, So I start, it's a clock stroke letter, but I start with a tall clock stroke. So I start over a space just below the top baseline, touch 2 on the clock. Curve up, touch the top baseline, curve down, touch 10, touch 8, touch the baseline, touch 4, come all the way up to the dotted line and do a backwards dash stroke on the dotted line, capital G, J. All right, class, now it's your turn. I'll talk through it with you. What are we going to write? Very good, capital G, J. All right, so our starting spot is, say it with me, over a space just below the top baseline, touch 2 on the clock. Good, curve up, touch the top baseline, curve down, touch 10, touch 8, touch the baseline, touch 4, go up to the dotted line and make a backwards dash stroke on the dotted line. That is our capital G, J. All right, very good job, class. Let's make sure yours looks like mine. And it's a little bit hard sometimes to see the short dash stroke because we have a dotted line there. But make sure that you have a little backwards dash stroke. All right, let's do another one. The starting spot is what? Very good. Over a space just below the top baseline, touch 2 on the clock. All right, curve up, touch the top baseline, curve down, touch 10, touch 8, touch the baseline, touch 4, go to the dotted line and make a backwards dash stroke on the dotted line. What did you write? Very good. Capital G, J. All right, let's do one more. Find the starting spot. Where is it? Say it with me. Over a space just below the top baseline, touch 2 on the clock. Good. Talk through it with me. Curve up, touch the top baseline, curve down, touch 10, touch 8, touch the baseline, touch 4, go up to the dotted line and make a backwards dash stroke on the dotted line. That is our capital, say it with me, G, J. Good job, class. All right. So next to it, I am going to write my lowercase G, J, G, J. All right. And now let's come over to this new wall chart we have. It's so exciting. This is going to help us organize our capital letters by the kind of stroke that we use to start them. So first we're going to put our clock stroke letters where we start, say it with me, over space just below the top baseline, touch 2 on the clock. Then we curve up, touch the top baseline, curve down, touch 10. All right, so let's first start with our capital K, S. All right, that's the first one. We're going to write our capital K, S. And now I'm going to write right next to it my lowercase K, S. All right, then I'm going to leave a space. I'm going to write my capital G, J. So I start over a space just below the top baseline, touch 2 on the clock. So we go around up to the dotted line and make a backwards dash stroke. And then right next to that, I'm going to write my lowercase G, J. Just like that. All right, great work with that, class. So I'll teach you the other 2 capitals we're going to learn in the next lesson. But while we have a minute, let's go ahead and practice our ow, o that we learned earlier. Class, what are we going to write? Very good, ow, o. So try and remember, and then write it and say it while you write it. All right, so I'm going to skip a space. This is our ow, o. All right, and let's write it one more time. Say it while you write it. Say it with me. Ow, o. Make sure you underline. All right, nice work, first grade.